There we go.
Let's get this show on the road.
All right, sounds good. Yo, what's up, y'all? We back out here again with another episode of Ngorii's Stories. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, you've been enjoying the stories of different people as you're seeing their progress and how they're taking a step ahead in various aspects of life. That's what the pod is all about. Ngoriiakl, my Palau name, means taking a step ahead, and we're trying to do that physically, mentally, spiritually, socially, practically. And today on the podcast, I have a special guest, a friend of mine that I met through the awesome art of gymnastics. And she's very talented, and I'm glad that she's here on the pod with us here today. Brianna, how are you doing?
I'm doing so well. I'm so happy to be here. Very excited.
All right. Now, you'll have to go and watch the vlog to see how we were able to catch up after the fact. But all I'm going to say to start is double back on. All right, double back on. Okay, if you know, you know. If you don't, go watch the video.
You should watch the video.
You definitely should watch the video.
That was a cool moment.
Man, absolutely hype. Happy losing my mind out here. Yeah. But hey, Brianna, thank you for taking the time. We were just talking about it. This is graduation week for you. So amidst all the business and the stuff you have going on, definitely thank you for taking some time to join us here on the podcast. What would you like to tell the people about yourself?
Okay, well, I am about to graduate from Southern. I'm an education major. I actually have a job teaching first and second grade next year, so I'm thrilled about that. I have been involved with gymnastics, all things, since I was a wee little tot, and then I got involved in the Adventist world of gymnastics. When I moved to the Southern area in 2011, I did Gym Kids, Mini Masters, the whole program. I was on a middle school team, and then I was on College Academy's team in high school, and always looked up to gym masters. It was always a goal of mine. And then I tried out and made it my freshman year, and so I've been a part of this team for the last 4 years, and it has been absolutely incredible, and it's been a highlight of my time at Southern. And I'm just really looking forward to what else life has to offer in the future.
Hey, thank you for sharing. And I tell you, when it comes to gymnastics and taking a step ahead in gymnastics, I think Brianna is the definition of that. And like you mentioned, starting from like being a wee tot. How old were you when you started?
I think my parents put me in when I was like 3 because I was very clumsy and uncoordinated.
What are the odds?
I know. I think I'm the clumsiest person you will ever meet. You can ask Miss Johnson. I fall over air like frequently.
Still.
Like frequently.
That's crazy.
It happens very often. So I think
that's hard to believe.
Yeah, that's why I started. And obviously it didn't help my coordination, but here we are.
You got coordinated in some kind of way. I mean, you have to be.
Some sort. When I'm in the air and there's nothing to trip on.
Oh, man.
It works.
So talk to us about like this is really intriguing to me. And I guess for context, I started gymnastics. Well, I tried and maybe like 5th grade or something like that, but I quit because I couldn't do a backwards roll. So it wasn't until
I can't do a backwards roll.
That's wild. The 2 backflips, no problem, but a backwards roll, different story.
Too hard. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's crazy. But yeah, like it took me years to even be brave enough to step back into the gymnastics world again. But for starting, like, I mean, 3 years young, that's wild to me. What was that journey like from that point to the point? And you mentioned like even before you were in the Adventist world that you had an experience there. What was that like foundational experience in gymnastics for you like?
So it was like the traditional like young kid gymnastics class at a traditional gym. So it was bars, beam, tumbling, all that sort of stuff. I did not stay in it until I was very old because my family moved out of the area and we came to Southern because my dad had a teaching position here. And so we just dove right in with all that Southern has to offer. So I really wasn't in that side of gymnastics for a long time that I remember, because I was so little. But coming in to this side of it and seeing the more team aspect, and where it's not just individual events, it's more as a group, as a whole, you're working different skills, different things. I really enjoyed that. And I really enjoyed being able to focus on like flipping things, and I'm, tumbling things and stuff like that, because like I said, I'm not the very most coordinated person. And so, like the bar and the beam, it wasn't really my jam, but being able to focus and then seeing, as soon as I saw Gym Masters for the first time, my first home show, let me see what year was that. Find the evidence. I think it was 2011. I was like,
Okay.
That's what I want to do. It was just like, It was something that I had looked up to ever since then, because I was like, oh, this makes so much more sense. This is so much more fun. So just for me personally. Yeah.
What was it about Gym Masters and the way that they kind of carried themselves, and some of the things that you saw that really drew you to it?
So honestly, for me, it was the way that the girls on the team interacted with us as littles. And so they were always like, even when we would do our little routine at home show, they were always so encouraging, and they would smile at us and wave at us and cheer us on. And then I'd get to watch them perform, and I was like, wow, how cool is it that someone that is that cool is talking to me, like this little 8-year-old. And so that was really the biggest thing. And then just the camaraderie that you could see even at a young age, because when you're in Gym Kids, typically it's coached by quite a few gym master people, and so just watching them interact and the passion they had for it, both for the sport and for their team and for their teammates. And that was really like the thing that stuck out to me the most.
That kind of community and impact there, those are things that are so foundational to young people. Like, I don't know, what are your thoughts on what you were able to see from them in that space in comparison to what you see in the world at large?
Oh, that's a good question. I think sometimes it's hard to be intentional about reaching everyone, and even people that you might not connect with, or that are in a very different phase of life than you are, but still smiling at them, like waving at them, saying hi. I think it goes a long ways, and I think that oftentimes that's overlooked with the busyness of life and just kind of culture and how it is now. But I think seeing the camaraderie that can form even between little gymnasts and big gym masters is really powerful. And you can think about that in the same aspect spiritually too. You have little Christians, little baby ones, little kids. I'm also an elementary teacher, so there's that. And then you have adults, but seeing how they interact and how they encourage each other and build each other up, even though they're in such different phases of life, different aspects, different perspectives. But it's just neat to see that community in multiple areas.
Wow, I like that. So in other words, what you're saying is there are a lot of things that you can gain from your experience as a gymnast that have really framed the way that you see not only your growth as a gymnast, but the world.
100%.
That's what this is all about.
It's so much more. It's not just gymnastics. Not at all. This gymnastics is just like the icing on top. Like the best part is everything else.
I like that. And I've actually heard this is something that I think I didn't understand until much later being a part of it, because I did my undergrad at Southern, and while I was there as a student, I never considered joining gymnastics at all. I know it was my loss. But it was weird because there was like a certain stigma. I'd heard some different things from different people about them as a group, but being on the outside and never really giving it a chance or getting to know anybody who was in the group, they were doing their thing and I was doing mine.
Yeah. But
my first year in gymnastics actually was on Gym Masters. That was back in 2015. That's crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Way back when.
Yeah, it was like 10. That's 10 years ago now. Great.
That's
crazy. Anyways, it wasn't until actually being open to that experience, and I guess for some context, the only reason I even gave it a shot, I was in the area working, and I would wake up in the mornings to play basketball at College Academy. And a few of the guys that I played with when I was recruiting for my job later at the job fair or whatever the thing is they do in the beginning of the year, they were in the corner of the gym. I saw them over there. And I was like, hey, what are y'all doing? They're like, hey, we're a part of Gym Masters. You should join. Only because of the interaction I had with them being positive and cool people there, I was willing to give Gym Masters a shot. And actually going into that space, I was like, wow, this is something completely different than what I thought. And I'm very glad that I had that experience. And I'm saying all of that to frame this question. I've heard so many athletes in the gymnastics space try to communicate to people on the outside of that space how it isn't just a sport. It's more than that. It's a calling in a sense, and it's a ministry and a mission in a sense. What are your thoughts on that?
I think we have a really special opportunity to serve and to minister to people in a unique way. And I think that sometimes it's harder to see that, but once you get on the inside and you see how you can serve and how you can make an impact in people's lives, and it's really special to be able to do that through this sport, you know. And it's more than just like, oh, like let me wave and say hi. It's no, let me communicate through my actions, through my interactions, through how I carry myself, through what I do in my free time, to show people that my life is a ministry and my life is a mission, and I can carry that out through a sport that I love. And how special is that? Something that was really neat this year on Gym Masters is we went to Peru on a mission trip, and it was an incredible trip. Oh my goodness, it was beyond amazing. But I have been on mission trips before, and they've been like building projects and all that sort of stuff, which is so important and so powerful. But being able to go on a mission trip and doing the skill that God had explicitly given all of us to do and serve in a way that we all are very specially capable to do was so neat. And it was like, wow, I can actually like visibly see people learning about Jesus through gymnastics. Like, how cool is that? Anyways, that was awesome.
No, that's amazing. Like there's so much there, because Christianity as a whole, I don't know, let me know what you think about this, but for me growing up, it felt like there was only one way you could do it. And if you weren't doing it that way, then you were doing it wrong. So for people to think like just the concept or the idea that you could do that and show Jesus through gymnastics seemed like a I don't know, something far
Foreign
off from
concept.
whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I think it comes down to like when in the Bible it talks about, you know, being members of a body and we're each given special gifts. And I applaud pastors. I could not preach a sermon series. Could not do it. I mean, like if the Spirit moved, I could, but that is not something that is in my skill set. And I probably would struggle more to reach people in that way. But hey, God has given me this really cool skill that I can do this really cool sport with a, you know, really awesome community, and I can reach people that way. And I'll probably reach different people than the people that would benefit from a sermon series. And so it comes down to God has equipped us with so many neat things and so many different things, and that we're able to serve in so many vast ways through that. And so just, yeah, that's my perspective on it.
I like that. I like that. And the Gym Masters were able to foster that in you from that young age, even if you didn't realize what was happening. But now you have a chance, and it sounds like you've reflected on this some, and you're seeing how that is propelling you forward. Talk to us a little bit about that aspect of it, the core values, the things that gymnastics has been formative for you in your life, and how you want to take those things forward.
So many things. Oh my goodness. Well, one is really time management, because when you are a part of this team, you have got to have yourself all your whole schedule, because it is a time commitment, and you have to be fully committed to it. But also we're full-time college students, and we also have social lives, and there's also things to do. We also have to work. And so you have to be really intentional about planning your time, not procrastinating. Like, let me get my stuff done so I can do this and this and this and this. So like that drive and work ethic ethic I've definitely noticed like grow through the team. Another thing is how to intentionally grow friendships in a sense of community, and how you have to put work in like you do in gymnastics to get a move, to build pyramid. And you have to do the same thing with your life and your friends. You have to intentionally put time in and put practice in to build a friendship, to build a community. And so that's something that I've seen and learned and been able to grow my ability of doing in gymnastics. And then something that, you know, people talk about frequently is spotting each other on and off the mats. And so when you're a part of a team like this, you're responsible for not only people's physical safety and spotting them when they're coming down from a move, because they as an individual are an important member of the team, but also spotting them off the mats and spotting them in the decisions they make, and how can I help you and how can I keep you from falling, not just physically, but, you know, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, because they're an important member of your team, and you don't want your team ever to hit the ground in any way, shape, or form. And so carrying that mindset to other things, I think, is really valuable.
Wow. You know, you're sitting here saying that you couldn't preach a sermon series, but each one of those sounds like a sermon to me. I'm just saying.
No.
No, it's such a cool way of breaking things down. And like, it is just amazing to me the kind of lessons that we can gain from something like gymnastics. If I'm thinking about these things and how they apply to regular life, but even the spiritual life, like as you're saying them, I'm almost comparing it to what I see within Christianity. And it's like, man, I don't know if I always see those things there. Like the community that's really caring about the members of the community, but in a safe way and not a harmful way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I got some thoughts on that.
It's interesting to think about. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And this is your fourth year on the team.
Yeah. Fourth.
So you've been able last.
I know. We don't talk about it.
One of the reasons that we can't talk about it is because next year Southern is hosting.
Woohoo! Yay! I will be around for that. Don't worry.
Good.
Don't worry.
Good.
Yes.
Oh man. Now, coming to the end of your gymnastics experience after these 4 years, like what's going through your mind? Like,
oh my goodness.
How are you processing that?
A lot of things. One, it's a end of a really good chapter. And so being able to, you know, put a period on and turn the page of a good chapter is something that's hard to do. But, you know, there's always good chapters that follow. And so kind of understanding that, yes, this is the end of this, but there's so much more to come in different ways and in different roles and in different aspects. And I think that I will still be involved with gymnastics in the future because it's been such a big part of my life. I think I will not just be like cut and dry stepping away, especially because I'm in the area still. So I'll probably, you know, still be involved in some aspects, but it definitely is hard to think about leaving that community and all that sort of stuff, because yes, I'm going to miss the gymnastics and the flying and the flipping and, you know, all those things that are so much fun that I look forward to every day, but also leaving, you know, your friends that you see every night, because it's a forced 2 hours of hangout time. Like, it's so great. You know, leaving people who text you, hey, good luck on your test today. Hey, I was praying for you extra because I know you had this going on. Like, stepping away in that aspect and finding it in new ways is scary, but it's exciting. So anyways, it's just there's so many things going on in my head, but all good things.
No, I think that's a really important thing. And how do you feel like you'll be able to carry some of those things with you from this stage into the next one?
Carrying like the perspectives I have on life and how to treat people and how to reach people and how your little actions can be life-changing to someone else's life. And one of the big things is, like, you never know when someone's watching. And so live your life intentionally in such a way that whatever you're doing, people see Jesus through you, because I guarantee you someone is watching, even when you don't think they are. I guarantee you. And so trying to keep that mindset going is exciting, and I'm looking forward to that. And like the principles I've learned throughout the team and the friendships I'm going to continue to grow from the team, all that sort of stuff, just moving on in a different direction.
So with education and teaching, what prompted you to choose that profession?
Oh my, I have known I was going to be a teacher since I was like 1 year old. There's pictures of me like teaching my little stuffed animals. It's something that has been a calling of mine, and I've known it's been a calling of mine for like actually as long as I can remember. I have lots of teachers in my family. I'm a third generation SDA teacher, actually. And so I'm very familiar with the world of education, and I have a soft spot for kids, and I think I'm able to reach them in a really neat way. And I love interacting with them and seeing them grow. And I'm very like an organized person, and I have skill sets like that. And so I think that my skill sets that I have are able to transfer really well into the classroom. And I don't know, it's just something I've always known I wanted to do. And so it's exciting to actually see it come into fruition all of a sudden.
Yeah, I never would have thought, like you already said that you'd gotten into gymnastics at 3, but your calling as a teacher predates that.
Now, don't get me wrong. There was a period of life where I fought it. I said, I do not want to be a teacher. No, I don't want to do it. Like, it's long hours and all the things. And there's, and I said, I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to choose a different path. And then there were lots of like little moments where God was like, here's this. Actually, you are going to be a teacher. And then I would pray about something like, I don't really know. And then like the next day he'd be like, here's this. And I said, oh, okay. And then, a couple weeks later, he'd plant another thing. And I said, well, I guess I'm supposed to do this. And so ever since like halfway through my freshman year of college, I've very confidently been walking down this path, and I think that it's where God is leading me to go, and I think he's opened some really huge doors for me to be able to do that. So
no, that's awesome. Now, you mentioned wrestling with God in the midst of all of that. This is something I wanted to touch on as well, because we've kind of touched on gymnastics and its connection to the spiritual, and we have its connection with gymnastics, and now it's kind of coming back. What's been helpful to you in those moments where you're wrestling with God and trying to figure out direction and path and what to do with life?
My people and my friends and my teammates and my family and the people who point you back in the right direction. And then they are so intentional about like, hey, no, like you can do this. And hey, let's revisit this. Hey, I'll pray for you. Hey, I'm looking out for you. Like the little text, like, hey, I know you're having a long week. I'm praying for you, and I'm going to buy you a coffee, sort of thing. And so it's really been my community who in those moments help when you're down, help build you back up, bring you back up, lead you back to where you're supposed to be. And then having been raised in an Adventist home and a very loving and nurturing environment, having that to fall back onto. Like my parents are my biggest supporters. Bless them. I love them so much. And so knowing that I can always go to them with everything and they'll point me back in the right direction too. Like, hey, let's pray about this together. Hey, I know this, you're struggling with this. Here's this, let's talk about it, sort of thing. And that's been huge. And then being able to, in the midst of the wrestling, grow my spiritual relationship and then see it take off more in the highs, because often when it's a high, you have spiritual highs and whatever, and often I feel like I tend to go to God in my low moments. Like in my low points, he's the biggest thing I fall back on. Like, hey, this was awful. Hey, this was like not good at all. Help me, like sort of thing. And so that has been the biggest thing, is having that pre-existing relationship to then fall back on and see it grow more in the future. So yeah.
How do you, if you had to give like some advice to people in building that relationship and reliance with God, and in terms of having such a great community like that? Because I think both of those things, if we look at young people today, are things that they struggle with. If you had to give any insight or encouragement there, what would you say?
Focus on the good things. I think that focusing on the positive things that are happening in life and the good things that God is doing in your life really helps my mindset. It's a mindset switch that I made intentionally in college. I decided that, okay, it is just as hard to focus on the positives as it is the negatives. And so it's not something I always do, trust me, but it is a mindset switch that I've tried to be really intentional about, and seeing and focusing on like, hey, this was a bad day, but also look at the good things that happened today. Like, let's focus on that instead, and let's carry that moving forward. So.
I like that. I like that. Staying positive it's something that we say a lot, but it's a very underrated ability these days, it feels like.
Yeah. It's tricky sometimes. It's definitely tricky sometimes. Some days more than others.
It's true. That's true. But I like that. Staying positive. Now, these two paths for you, the gymnast and the teacher, um, they've kind of been running parallel for almost your entire life, pretty much. If you see any parallels, what parallels do you see between what it takes to be a good gymnast and a good educator?
Honestly, these lines have been like intersecting the whole time.
Okay.
I coached gym kids and mini masters in high school and in college, and then I've taken on a role the last 3 years on Gym Masters. I've been the team manager, and so all of those things, and then being an upperclassman on the team and seeing all the new freshmen come in, and I think the aspects of education and teaching that are really important, the nurturing, the loving, the being intentional about forming relationships, I think that those go hand in hand with each other. And so the skills that I've been able to apply in the gymnastics world and in coaching and in being positive, but also let's work on this and let's build up this side. Hey, that was really good, but also let's do this. I think they just walk side by side with each other. And while I've grown as a teacher, I think I've grown as a gymnast in my ability to help my teammates and do my role on the team better. And so, yeah, I think they cross quite frequently, actually.
No, that's really cool. That's really cool. That's a match made in heaven right there.
It's been great. I can't complain.
Now, I know as a grade school teacher, what grade are you going to teach, or grades?
First and second.
First and second grade. Wow.
Little
Talk about formative.
I know it's a little stressful, but it's okay.
Now,
no pressure or anything.
None at all. None at all. Of course. How much of Brianna the gymnast are your students going to experience?
Probably quite a little bit. It'll be not as much probably at first, because it's kind of hard to do gymnastics in the classroom. Like that just doesn't go well. But like my students that I'm student teaching with right now, they were really invested in home show, and because I was talking to them about it, and a couple of them actually came. And
okay, nice.
And it was really neat. And the rest of them were like, Miss Trot, we want to see your videos. We want to see how you do this. And so I'm sure that those Brianna, Miss Trot the gymnast and Miss Trot the teacher, I think it will probably overlap a little bit, but we'll see at first how much. You never know. You never know. I'll probably talk about it. I talk about it a lot, so they'll definitely know.
Good. They need to. They need to know. They need to know.
Yes, they do.
Because, like I said, y'all are just watching the podcast here, so you haven't seen any footage to back up the claims. But Brianna is a talented gymnast. All right, like talented, and I don't use the word lightly.
Well, I don't do it on my own, so it's a group effort.
Hey, you're right.
And I've had some great coaches who have been very helpful. So
indeed.
And like I said, in this sport, it's really hard to do well on your own, and you need those people under you and above you to be able to do a lot of the things we do. And so it's a group effort for sure.
Now, I'm actually setting you up for my next question here.
Because
to achieve high level skills and the difficulty, as Brianna mentioned, it takes people all over and around you to do that. But oftentimes there can be a lot of pressure in situations like that. And this is something that you see in a gymnastics team with people trying to achieve new skills. It's something that you can see in a classroom as well with students who are struggling to learn a new ability or something like that. How has your experience influenced how you deal with pressure and how you'll help others in dealing with pressure like that?
Oh, that's a really good question. Okay. Okay, let's see. Being able to trust the work that you've put in and saying, hey, I have done the very best of my abilities, putting in the hours, putting in the time, putting in the reps, that I am confident in my abilities on the mat. Like, I know that we've put in all that we can to then perform to the best of our abilities. And if it doesn't go well, then that's okay. It was the best. We'll try again, sort of thing. But yes, there is a lot of pressure, especially some years more than others. But understanding that, hey, I'm still a person and I'm doing my best. And ultimately, I'm just doing what I love and I'm having fun while I'm doing it. And that's all I can do. And that's all I can ask for. So,
it's tough. Like being able to have the encouragement and that circle around. It feels like this is a common thread that's popped up in various points of this podcast, this community of support to help you through these things. It's so valuable and necessary. As a student, go ahead.
You literally can't do it on your own. That's the thing. Like, you can't do gymnastics on your own. You can't do your career on your own. You can't do life on your own. And so it comes down to, like, you need your people and you need your community and you need God really evident in your life in order to do these things. And so it comes down to that, I think, ultimately.
Partnership all around.
Yes, 100%.
I like that. Now, as you continue to blend these two paths moving forward, how do you see your mission expanding or evolving in the next stage?
Well, I have a mission to teach little people now and to show them Jesus in a really important and crucial time in their life. And so, now I have a very specific group of people that I'm ministering to. And so how can my everyday actions with these students who I see for most of the year, for most of the day, how can I show them Jesus through the daily things I make, how I treat them, how I interact with them, how I teach them, like how I solve conflict between them? How can I show them what Jesus is like every day?
Wow. Now, considering the gymnastics piece again, I'm curious, where do you feel like your biggest level up was in your gymnastics experience?
In like my time on Gymnasters, when I came from high school, it was a lower point in CA's program. We'd gone through a couple coaches, so I actually had not basket tossed from the end of my sophomore year until I got to Southern.
Wow.
So coming in was a little nerve-wracking. So I definitely saw a lot of growth my freshman year, and I learned quite a few tossing moves like right off the bat. And so that was a huge area of growth. I got so much stronger in the course of 6 weeks. I was like, what on earth was that? So that was probably, like, up until Acrofest, my freshman year was probably one of my biggest growth areas I've seen. And then my junior year, so last year, the year I did the double back, that was a big move for me to accomplish. That was hard. I put in a lot of reps for that. And then I actually was in a really bad tossing mental block that year. So I couldn't throw anything. I threw the double back, and I think other than that, I threw like a handful of harder moves, but it was pretty basic, like tossing stuff. And I did middling and topping and all that stuff. That was fine, but I was in a really bad tossing mental block, and it was really frustrating, and I was irritated. And so I was really intentional about it over the summer, and like I spent so much time on the trampoline, it's not even funny, to try to get over this mental block. So it's like, it's senior year, I'm not doing that. And then thank the Lord, I came back in August, and I threw, and I said, oh my goodness. I remember I was standing I'm in the gym right now, but I was standing in the gym during one of our open gyms after practice, and I had a group throw me, and I did a move, and I did it right, and it just went well. And I like came down, I was like jumping up and down. I was like, it's good. And so so my senior year, I feel like I've grown a lot in some of the moves I've been able to try, and I just kind of will do things that are out of the blue or out of the ordinary. Like, hey, I saw this on Instagram. Let's just try it. Now, do my bases always appreciate it? No, but it's entertaining. So
that's the understated part right there.
Exactly. So this year, I think I've grown a lot with my flying capabilities and moves I've been able to do. Yeah, I've seen a lot of growth this year for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never would have thought. Y'all need to go watch this video. Y'all need to go see this video. That's one of the last moves I think anybody would try to do who's actually struggling with flying. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
But it was so, that was such a satisfying moment, like seeing the payoff for all of the reps that we put in, and all of the bruises that I gave my poor guys on their hands and their knuckles. Like, it was such a satisfying moment to be like, oh my goodness, we did the work and it paid off.
Yes.
That was incredible. Yeah.
And I should have asked you this before. Like, we know gymnastics because we've been a part of it, but everyone listening may not be as familiar. So when you're talking about a tossing group, what does that look like?
So it's like this weird, like, cheer-based acrobatic combo that we just kind of smashed with some circ aspects in it. Anyways, so a tossing group is 4 guys who link up their hands and create a platform, and then I jump in and they throw me multiple feet in the air, and then they come down and catch me. And while I'm in the air, the goal is to do a cool move, but that doesn't always happen. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, 5 people it takes to pull off one move. And it's like, again, this community, this idea that you can't do it on your own.
Right.
Like, there are so many things, and I can only imagine working through the mental block aspect of it. You mentioned being on the trampoline often. There's only so much you can do on the trampoline.
Oh, no, I know. Trust me. Trust me, I don't throw all of my hard skills on the trampoline, but I worked a lot of basics. Like, okay, let me work really intentionally on my back tuck, which was so hard to just do back tucks over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. But it paid off. And so it's this weird fine line of, okay, I know I've put in the work, so why is it not happening in the air? And so, yeah, I was pretty frustrated at the end of last year because I just knew, I was like, I have all these moves I want to learn, all these moves, because the end of my sophomore year I'd learned quite a few new moves too, and then not being able to throw them for who knows what reason, like I wasn't scared, I don't know, I just wouldn't throw them, was beyond frustrating.
What was it like being kind of mentored by your coaches through that time?
They were always just so encouraging, especially Coach Johnson. He was like, well, that's okay, we'll try again tomorrow. It's like, hey, here's this drill I saw on Instagram, you should try this one. So I'd try that one, I do it over and over and over and over again, and then he's like, hey, that's okay, we'll try again tomorrow. And so just being encouraging through the whole thing, and like, hey, I know you can do this, you know you can do this. Like, and if it doesn't happen, then that's okay, it's not the end of the world, because there's more to life than throwing a move in the gym. But, you know, try again, come back tomorrow, do it again, and if not, we'll just keep cruising.
I like that. And I'm actually hearing the teacher in you while you're saying that. Like,
my teacher voice come out.
Yeah, no, not in a bad way, not in a bad way. But it's like, I'm thinking of, so one of the years that I was out in the mission field, I worked in elementary school, and I was the PE teacher for 1st through 8th, but I ended up substituting like 70 days of that school year.
Oh my word.
So yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. Wow. People were sick 2 weeks at a time. I'm sitting here, 2nd grade, 1st grade. And yeah, that kind of encouragement and just the little things that you could do to help keep them pushing forward, even though I was just like holding the gap or just holding the line for the teacher to come back. Those things are so important. And for young people, for gymnasts, for coaches, people at all different stages, this positivity and realization, like, it's okay.
It's okay. We'll keep trying.
Yeah, keep trying. Do your best. I like that.
Right. Yeah. It makes a huge difference, especially when you're down on yourself about it. And you're like internally like, hey, why can't I do this? Like, I know I can do this. Why is it not happening? And so you're beating yourself up about it, and then having someone who you really look up to and your mentor being like, no, but it's okay. Like, we'll do it again. Keep practicing. It's not the end of the world. And so having them like, what's the word? Almost balancing it out on the other side. Like when you're so down on yourself and they're not coming at you too, they're saying on the opposite side of the spectrum, hey, let's try again. Hey, it's okay. Let's do this other thing that you're capable of doing. Let's build you up in this way. And so that is a huge thing for me too.
Oh man, there's a powerful spiritual parallel there as well. Like, it's easy for us as Christians, especially the way that it's presented sometimes, to think that when we're down, everyone's piling on us, can't do anything right. But God is not like that. No. Jesus is the complete opposite of that. We can be in the absolute depths and in the dumps of everything, and he's sitting there trying to pick us up like, it's okay.
It's okay.
I got you. We're
Try
running
again.
back.
I got you. Do it again. You can do it.
I love that. Those kids are going to be blessed to have you in their classroom. That's a fact.
I can't wait to teach them. I'm so excited.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Excuse me. So as we get down to the end of the podcast and the conversation for today, Brianna, is there anything else that you want to leave the people with? Anything that we didn't cover? Anything that you just want to throw out there?
Oh, that's a hard question. You should do gymnastics, number one. You should get involved. Push yourself outside of your comfort zone. Try something new. Just put your heart into everything, no matter what, and then God will lead you where he wants you to go, and trust that ultimately that his plan for your life is so much better than anything you could ever dream up or concoct in your mind. And so knowing that he ultimately has a plan for you and he wants you to succeed, and trusting that, hey, I'm gonna follow that, and I'm gonna follow through with that, and I'm gonna walk with you every step of the way it's really neat. So
taking a step ahead. Brianna's doing just that, graduating in a few days. It's crazy. The experience of her entire life leading up to this moment. And it's just continuing. Like you said, it's just the turning of a page.
Yes. And come to AgriFest 2025 at Southern Adventist University.
Let's go.
Yes, it's going to be great. You need to be here. It's going to be good.
I will be there.
Yes.
Brianna will be there.
I will be there.
And hopefully y'all will be there too.
Yes, 100%.
Let's go. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Brianna, thank you so much for spending some time with me on the pod.
Thanks for reaching out.
At some point in your teaching experience, we're going to have to run it back and get you on here again to follow up and see how it's going.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll let you know.
All right. If she has time, because it's crazy. It's crazy teaching.
Crazy out here, man. It's wild.
And hey, for y'all who tuned in, thank you for your time. Thank you for checking us out. Like, subscribe, share. You already know what to do. Ngorii Stories, wherever you listen to your podcast, and on YouTube as well. We are here. And just want to encourage you, whatever area it is, continue taking a step ahead. It doesn't have to be a big one. It can be a small one, but keep moving forward. That's what we do. And we're here to encourage you and inspire in that as well. So thank you. And we'll see you in the next one. All right. Peace. We out here. We out. Subscribe.